Hello, thank you so much for watching this video. Guess where I am today? I'm in Switzerland, so we took a little road trip to Switzerland to visit my brother and my sister-in-law. It's raining, so the weather's pretty bad. They said that tomorrow it's gonna be better and the day after it's gonna be better. It's Easter right now, so we're celebrating Easter here in Switzerland. And I thought I would bring my Nikon D600 with my 50mm lens, aperture 1.8. So I thought I would show you how to take photos during your vacation in different circumstances. With the 50mm lens, you can put your aperture at 1.8, which means that you get a lot of light in your photo. Also, you can get a really beautiful blurry background, like a beautiful bokeh, while your subject that you're focusing on is in focus. So I photograph on the manual mode, which means that I can determine which aperture, which ISO and which shutter speed I'm using. And let's see what I can take a photo of, which looks really Swiss, and it can be cool in our scrapbook. If we're gonna make a scrapbook about this road trip, I'm gonna add some photos like from the scenery, just some Swiss cool looking photos. So it's not gonna be too much focus on shooting portraits, but more just cool vacation photos. My umbrella is flying away. So here in Switzerland you have beautiful houses. I'm just gonna see what I can take a photo of that looks really cool in our album. So yeah, tomorrow we're probably gonna visit like a little animal farm where they have some like cows and stuff, cool looking Swiss stuff. I'm just gonna look around and see what I can take a photo of. Then I'm gonna share my settings and show you the photos. Okay, so this is gonna be interesting with my umbrella. I'll probably come back tomorrow, but I thought I would just show you something at least. So here you have a beautiful plant right here. And then there's this lovely looking house right there in the background. So I'm gonna take a photo of one part of the little plant while holding my umbrella and this vlog camera, and then have a photo of the house in the back, like being all blurry. I'm losing the umbrella here. My settings, my aperture 1.8. My ISO is 100, and then I'll increase my shutter speed if the photo is overexposed, and I decrease my shutter speed if my photo is underexposed. So here we go. I think I'm just gonna ditch the umbrella for a second. Okay, so now the house is really blurry. I wanna see more of the house in the background. So I'm gonna shoot with a smaller aperture, which is a higher f number. So I'm gonna go from 1.8 to, let's say, 3.5, which means I'm gonna decrease my shutter speed to keep the same amount of light in my photo. What I did was I put my shutter speed at 200. I didn't go any lower because I want to have sharp photos. And then I increased my ISO from 100 to 250. I chose a smaller aperture of 3.5 instead of 1.8. So I have actually more of the house in the background. And it's just a pretty photo that you can use as a background in your photo album when you're scrapbooking, just as a little extra photo, just to make it look good. But too much rain, something I'm gonna head back to our home where we're staying, and then I'm gonna try again tomorrow. But yes, you can definitely take photos in the rain. Just make sure your camera doesn't really get too wet, because that's not good for your equipment. Bring an umbrella. Okay, I'm actually still here outside, but I found a dry spot. This is actually the house where we're staying, and they have a really cool looking thing to put your newspaper in. My sister-in-law is so good with decorating the home, so she has really good taste. So she has a lot of these cool things in and around the house that look really cute. But anyway, so she got something here that says newspaper, and behind it is like this Swiss looking home design. So I'm gonna have that in a blurry background. Just gonna take a few cool photo. Here you can see what I'm talking about. This is to put your newspaper in. And this is the Swiss cool looking thing, part of the home. So you can see the raindrops, but I think that's okay. So I'm gonna focus on this part here, the letters that says newspaper, and then that part will be blurry in the background. So I'm gonna try two different settings to see which effect I like the most. So first, because I still have my settings from the previous photo I took near the home, is my aperture 3.5, shutter speed 200, and then my ISO is 320. So I'm just gonna take a photo from the top and see what it looks like. So yes, with the 50mm lens you cannot zoom, so you actually have to walk to the front or to the back if you want to go closer to your subject or further away. When I show you the back of the camera, it shows a yellow dot in my screen. That's just damaged in this camera. I cannot take it away, but on the actual photo there won't be a yellow dot. So here you can see the photo. So right now I'm going to take the photo again, but with a bigger aperture. So I'm going to go to 1.8 and then well, I'll put my shutter speed at 250 and lower my ISO. Well, first I'll lower my ISO. I'll put my ISO at 100. If you can, always put your ISO at 100. If your shutter speed is at least 200 and you have your aperture the way you want it. I have my aperture 1.8, shutter speed 200, and then my ISO will be 100. I'm just going to see if it's going to be under or overexposed, and then I'm going to adjust the settings. I like my photo to be a little bit lighter, so I'm just going to increase my ISO. Playing with your settings, photographing the manual mode, and then you can always edit and make it look even cooler. Just going to take a few more photos here. As you can see, that is the house across the street, and here in the top you have like water leaking. So I'm going to take a photo of the water leaking and then with the beautiful house in the background. In this case I want to have a fast shutter speed because I want to see the water dropping. So I'm going to increase my shutter speed, but I don't want to get a dark photo, so I'm also gonna increase my ISO. Because yeah, I think it's raining right now, so rain should be part of this road trip. So it's on the photo that it was raining at least. It's cool because you see the house, like the Swiss looking house in the background, blurry, and then you see the water, like the raindrops falling from the pipe. So that's cool. Also take some really cool photos inside without using flash, increasing your ISO, and have this really cool, I don't know what I'm doing with my strap, this really cool like grainy effect, especially when you turn it into a black and white photo. I love how these little heads are hanging here. So I'm just gonna take a photo of the heads with the wood in the background, and then increase my ISO. I think my ISO will be like 2000. It'll be a little bit grainy, but I think it adds to the vintage effect. My ISO is 2500. So I told you my sister-in-law is really good with home decor, so I'm just gonna take some shots inside her home because they look cool. Look at this chair. So this is also in the home where we're staying. They have this really cool chair. So I'm going to use it as a background. So it's a new day. The weather is so much better. But anyway, I'm gonna shoot some more photos just to fill up your photo album when you're traveling or going on a road trip. And I'm gonna take some photos with the Plastic Fantastic, the 50mm lens 1.8 of some like home decor items. I just have a table here behind me, and I'm gonna place some cool looking items on the table and then just take some photos, shooting with a big aperture of 1.8 and just playing with my focus. So I keep my shutter speed 200, aperture 1.8, and then I just play with my ISO to see if I need more light or less light. Easter, so the kids went like looking for Easter eggs and chocolate rabbits, and we're in Switzerland, so I thought it would be fun for our album to create a photo with this Lindt chocolate Easter bunny, because it's really part of our vacation right now. So I just picked out some items in the same color. So it's our last day in Switzerland, and of course I had to take some photos of my beautiful little nephew. So I will show some shots of me taking the photos, and then I will show you one finished product, like one actual photo, to see what they turned out to be like. But it's actually quite easy to take beautiful photos of your own children or nieces, nephews, when they are a little bit older. So I don't advise you to take newborn photos when you're not a professional, experienced and educated newborn photographer. But when a baby is like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months old, you can just dress them in like a white onesie, put them on a bed with maybe some white bed sheets or some light colored bed sheets, and then the baby can lie on his or her back depending on the age, or on his on her belly depending on the age. Stay close, make sure that the mom stays close, or maybe your husband or someone else, because when a baby can roll over, you don't want him or her to fall off the bed. So yeah, and then with the 50mm lens, I did use one speed light on top of my camera bouncing on the wall to create a little bit of extra light. Make sure that the light is coming from the good direction, and that's it pretty much. Yeah, you can take photos of your newborn baby using daylight, but just don't try any newborn poses. Just have the baby lie in their bed or in someone's arms, just natural poses. So yeah, this type of photography just in your own bedroom with a lot of daylight, no special outfits, but just like a white onesie on top of like some white bed sheets or whatever. It's more lifestyle photography, which I like as well. I do more studio photography, but lifestyle is amazing as well, beautiful. So when you don't have your studio with you, or you don't have a studio at all, you can always do like lifestyle shoots. 50mm lens on a full frame is a little bit hard when it comes to like shooting full body shots, because you have to be quite far away from your subjects, which means that sometimes in a bedroom you have to stand completely against the wall, and then you might even lack space. So you could go for more like a wide angle lens, like a 35mm or the 28-70mm, which is my favorite lens, but I didn't bring it with me. But seriously, how cute is my little nephew? Okay, so in a few minutes we're gonna go to a little playground and we can see the mountains and maybe like some water. I'm not quite sure where we're going, but I think it's gonna be beautiful to take some more photos outside. So yeah, the photos I'm taking, like part of the photos I'm taking are just like photos of the kids, of our family, of the family we're visiting, the activities that we do, and then part of the photos I'm taking is to fill up the album with some ambience photos. So just some photos to create like a beautiful looking album page, to show some details, to show some surroundings.